the curse of King Midas. Let's kick things off with one of the most famous "be careful what you wish for" stories of all time, King Midas. Picture this. Midas was already insanely rich. Gold everywhere. Palaces, treasures, blinged-out cups, you name it. But apparently, that wasn't enough. When the god Dionysus offered him a reward, Midas didn't ask for peace, wisdom, or even unlimited wine, which honestly would have made more sense. No, he asked for the power to turn anything he touched into gold. At first, jackpot. Imagine picking up a rock. Boom, instant bar of gold. Shake someone's hand. Golden statue buddy. Touch your pet cat? Congratulations, you now own a very stiff, very shiny cat. But then came the dark twist. When he tried to eat, the bread and meat turned solid gold in his hands. His wine turned to liquid metal. The curse made survival impossible. And the real heartbreak? When his daughter ran to hug him, she froze into a lifeless golden statue. That was the moment he realized his greed had literally cost him everything. In some versions, Midas begged Dionysus to take it back, and the god let him wash away the curse in the Pactolus River. That river, by the way, supposedly ran with golden sand ever after. The curse of Midas is basically the ultimate greed backfires myth. You want endless wealth? Sure, but enjoy starving to death in your mansion surrounded by bling. It's one of those stories where the gods don't even need to punish you. The wish itself becomes the punishment, and it's still referenced today whenever someone's obsession with money ruins their happiness. Honestly, Midas would have been better off just asking for a free buffet. The curse of Cassandra. Now let's jump to Troy for one of the cruelest curses ever invented. Cassandra. Imagine being able to see the future with crystal clear accuracy. You know exactly what's coming, and you could literally save lives. Wars, disasters, betrayals. Sounds like a superpower, right? Except the catch, nobody will ever believe you. That was Cassandra's curse. She was a princess of Troy, and the god Apollo was head over heels for her. He gave her the gift of prophecy as a "please love me" gift. But when Cassandra rejected him, Apollo couldn't take back the power, so instead, he made it useless. Every single prediction she made came true, but nobody would listen. She warned the Trojans not to bring the wooden horse into the city. They laughed. She screamed about the fall of Troy, about Agamemnon's murder, about her own death. People called her crazy. Think about how psychologically brutal that is. You're right all the time, but your voice means nothing. It's like being cursed to scream "fire" in a burning building while everyone keeps scrolling on their phones. In the end, Cassandra was dragged off as a slave and killed, her visions wasted. Her curse turned knowledge into pure suffering. Honestly, it's worse than being wrong. At least when you're wrong, you can blame bad luck. Cassandra lived with the agony of being right, every time, with nobody to stop the tragedy. It's a curse so cruel it still makes people shudder thousands of years later. The curse of the Flying Dutchman. From the ruins of Troy, let's set sail into stormy seas. The legend of the Flying Dutchman is basically the sailor's version of eternal damnation. According to maritime folklore, a Dutch sea captain tried to round the Cape of Good Hope, one of the deadliest stretches of ocean on Earth. When storms blocked his path, he didn't back down. Instead, he shouted a challenge to the heavens. "I'll sail until the end of time if I must." And the gods, or fate, or maybe the devil, took him literally. His curse? Sail forever. No land, no rest, no fresh water, no port. Just endless waves and storms. The ship itself became a ghostly phantom, crewed by cursed sailors doomed to wander the seas for eternity. Sailors feared spotting it on the horizon because it was seen as a bad omen, basically the ocean's way of saying, "You're next." Even centuries later, reports came in of strange glowing ships seen in the fog, vanishing as suddenly as they appeared. The Flying Dutchman isn't just a scary sea tale, it's a warning about arrogance. The captain defied nature and mocked the powers above, so now he's stuck sailing in circles forever. Imagine the crew at year 2000 like, "Anyone brought snacks?" Nope. Just more storm clouds and eternal boredom. It's why the legend still sticks in popular culture, because nothing's scarier than a punishment with no escape and no end. Eternal wandering, eternal regret. The curse of Oedipus. If you think your family is complicated, just wait until you hear about Oedipus. His curse is the definition of you can't escape fate, no matter how hard you try. The oracle at Delphi told his parents, King Laius and Queen Jocasta of Thebes, that their newborn son would one day kill his father and marry his mother. Yikes. So, naturally, they tried to cheat fate by abandoning baby Oedipus on a mountainside. But instead of dying, the baby was rescued and raised by another royal family. Fast forward, Oedipus grows up, hears a similar prophecy, and, thinking his adoptive parents are the targets, runs away to avoid disaster. Noble effort. Except, fate had other plans. On the road, he gets into an argument with an older man and kills him, not knowing it's his real father. Later, he saves Thebes from the Sphinx and is rewarded with the throne and the queen's hand in marriage. Yep, that queen was Jocasta, his actual mom. The curse came full circle. When the truth finally came out, Jocasta hanged herself, and Oedipus blinded himself in horror. Moral of the story? Don't try to outrun fate. It's faster than you. The curse of Oedipus is so famous it even gave us the modern psychological term Oedipus complex. But beyond Freud turning it into psychobabble, the original story is pure Greek tragedy. A guy cursed to do the exact thing he spent his whole life trying to avoid. The gods weren't messing around. They basically said, "You can take all the detours you want, but you'll still end up right where we told you." And Oedipus's downfall became a timeless warning about pride, denial, and how life sometimes feels like a really dark cosmic prank. The Curse of the Pharaohs. Ever heard of the mummy's curse? This one comes straight from Egyptian legend and archaeology gossip. For centuries, locals believed disturbing the tombs of the pharaohs would bring misfortune, sickness, or death. The idea wasn't random. Ancient Egyptians literally carved warnings into tombs. Death will slay with the wings of speed he who disturbs the pharaoh's rest. That's not exactly a subtle "do not enter" sign. The legend really blew up in the 1920s when Howard Carter and his team discovered King Tutankhamun's tomb. Not long after, people connected to the dig began dropping dead in mysterious ways. Lord Carnarvon, the expedition's financier, died from an infected mosquito bite, and newspapers ran wild with the story of the pharaoh's wrath. Suddenly, the curse of the pharaohs was front-page news around the world. Never mind that most of the team lived long lives. The spooky coincidences were enough to make people believe. The curse idea worked perfectly because it tapped into human fears, greed, death, and disrespecting the past. Imagine prying open a tomb sealed for thousands of years, with walls covered in hieroglyphs basically screaming, "Turn back!" Whether or not the curse is real, the idea of ancient kings reaching across time to punish grave robbers is too good to ignore. And honestly, the Egyptians would have loved knowing their warnings still give people goosebumps millennia later. The Curse of Atreus. If Greek mythology were a TV show, the House of Atreus would be the darkest, bloodiest soap opera ever made. Forget family feuds. This was an entire dynasty doomed by one horrible curse. It all started when Atreus' father, King Pelops, cheated in a chariot race by bribing a charioteer. To cover it up, he murdered the poor guy. On his deathbed, the victim cursed Pelops and his entire bloodline. And boy, did that curse deliver. Atreus himself feuded with his brother Thyestes over the throne of Mycenae. To get revenge, Atreus invited Thyestes to a banquet and served him a stew made from his own children. Yes, you heard that right. He literally fed his brother his kids. That act of horror locked the family into an endless cycle of blood, betrayal, and doom. Generations later, Agamemnon, Atreus' son, sacrificed his own daughter to win favorable winds for the Trojan War. When he came home, his wife Clytemnestra killed him in the bath. Then their son Orestes killed his mother in revenge, only to be haunted by the Furies. And it just kept spiraling. The Curse of Atreus is like the ultimate "don't mess with destiny" warning. Every single person in that bloodline was doomed to suffer for the sins of their ancestors. It's messy, tragic, and kind of hard to keep track of without a family tree chart. But the point is clear. One bad act can poison generations. The Greeks loved this kind of drama. It made "your family's cursed" the most terrifying insult you could throw at someone. The Curse of Medusa. Everyone knows Medusa as the snake-haired lady who could turn people into stone with one glare. But her story is actually one giant curse. She wasn't always a monster. In the beginning, Medusa was a beautiful mortal woman who served as a priestess in Athena's temple. Unfortunately, she caught the eye of Poseidon, the god of the sea. The two had an encounter inside Athena's sacred temple, and Athena was not happy about it. Instead of punishing Poseidon, because apparently gods get free passes, Athena unleashed her fury on Medusa. She transformed her into the terrifying creature we know today, snakes for hair, eyes that petrify, and basically the ultimate stay-away face. The curse doomed Medusa to a lonely life. Everyone who looked at her turned to stone, so making friends was kind of impossible. She became the most feared figure in Greek mythology, living on the edges of the world in exile. But her curse didn't end there. Perseus, sent on a hero's quest, eventually killed her by using a mirrored shield to avoid her deadly gaze. Even in death, her curse carried on. Her severed head kept its stone-turning power and was mounted on Athena's shield. Imagine being cursed so hard that even your corpse is dangerous. What makes Medusa's curse so striking is how unfair it feels. She went from admired priestess to cursed monster, punished for something beyond her control. Some modern takes even see her as a tragic symbol of injustice. But in the myths, she was pure nightmare fuel, a walking, hissing curse whose only real crime was angering the wrong goddess. If curses were punishments, Medusa's was the ultimate overkill. The Curse of Pandora's Box. Pandora, the first woman in Greek mythology, and the unfortunate star of one of the most famous curses of all time. The gods crafted her as part of a revenge plan. See, Prometheus stole fire from the gods and gave it to humans, and Zeus wasn't about to let that slide. So the gods created Pandora, gave her a mysterious jar, later mistranslated as a box, and told her never to open it, which of course guaranteed she was going to open it. When Pandora finally lifted the lid, out flew every terrible thing humanity now suffers. Disease, greed, pain, jealousy, you name it. In other words, she unleashed all the curses that make human life miserable. By the time she slammed the lid shut, only one thing was left inside: hope. Talk about mixed signals. On the one hand, thanks to Pandora, people got sickness, war, and heartbreak. On the other hand, they got hope to keep going despite all that. It's like Zeus cursed humanity but gave us a tiny consolation prize so we wouldn't completely lose our minds. Pandora's curse is one of those myths that never gets old because it explains why life feels like a constant struggle. It also has that universal "don't push the red button" vibe. If someone says "don't open this," you're 100% going to open it. The myth stuck for thousands of years because it's both terrifying and relatable. After all, who hasn't been curious enough to unleash trouble, only to regret it instantly? Pandora just happened to do it on a cosmic scale. That's the end of this myth. Stick around by subscribing so you don't miss the next one. Goodbye.